Thanks, Michelle. And hopefully, as we take a look at some of the features and tools with inside of Planner and talk about the where project is going, some of you aren't too disappointed here. But one of the pieces that I'm a little sad with was Don's update that SharePoint Designer is going to be officially gone here this summer. So many days I fought with that. So today we're here to talk a little bit about Microsoft Planner and the agent specifically for us. So as we go through, if you have any questions or items, please feel free to put them in chat. I'll do my best to try and monitor as good as I can for us. But again, as we take a look, we have a pretty jam-packed hour session here, kind of going through a lot of different news. So you heard some of the news in terms of the project manager agent is now being called the planner agent, and certainly you'll see the Copilot icon and logo come in. Really, when I set this up, it was specifically focusing on how do I make life easier when it comes to managing and planning projects. How do I take those tasks that I don't want to do, or frankly, the ones that I'm not good at? How do I help with that? How do I improve communication? How do I make it faster? And so we'll cover quite a bit of that here today in some live demos for us. I do have them recorded. So if you do, if things don't go good, we got the recording we can always go off of. But we will cover basic versus premium plans. It's probably one of the more confusing pieces out there. I'll stick in the basic for the most of it here today and just show you kind of the differences of the premium. The reason why I stick in the basic is because that's what's included inside of your existing Microsoft 365 subscription. What I always like to say is Planner's been around for a while, and we'll go through and see a timeline here for us. And when I think about Planner specifically, you know, inside of a lot of organizations, it just didn't match what you needed. You needed a little bit more. And so they've done some minimal updates here. But one of the pieces that sets it apart from other project management tools is the ability for it to generate things for you. So whether it's generating a list of tasks you need to do, or actually having your planner agent complete something for you that then you get to review, or a status report. Those are all things that, you know, certainly sets it apart and improve. If you have a grievance with one of the features of Planner or wonder why it doesn't have a specific feature, you're probably not alone when it comes to it. But we will talk about some core features, scenarios, live demo, as well as just make sure from a question and answer perspective that if you do have any questions, either you're putting them in chat or at the very end, I'll come back to any of them that I may have missed inside of chat. Quickly about myself, I will also be at the in-person user group here in a couple of weeks. I think from a 16th biannual aspect of it, I think I've been to almost all 16 for us, so that just proves that I'm getting a more, I guess I'm aging well. So when we take a look at it, I am a Microsoft MVP as well as an MCT. I've been speaking in the community for a long time. I am an owner of a 1975 AMC Pacer, and a round of applause. It did start up yesterday with the beautiful weather that we had here yesterday after sitting all winter long. So if you live in the South Metro, you may see me drive it around this summer. First of all, one of the pieces Don mentioned was the idea of the Frontier program. And so I want to just level set in terms of where the Frontier program comes in. The planner agent we're going to touch on is a Frontier agent, as well as CoWork and the workflows and the app builder and some of the other different agents that are out there. So if you're not leveraging the Frontier program, I would encourage you to ask to make that happen for it. So just keep in mind that gives you access to some earlier features. You get to see it when it comes out right away from the beginning. And so keep in mind some of those pieces. You know, if I'm showing something, your environment may not quite have that feature available here for it. But again, you as an organization can go ahead and join the Frontier program. So with that, as we take a look and talk about Planner overall, again, I'm going to start this relatively simple. So if you're a Planner expert or leveraging Planner a lot, then certainly you're one of those that might be a little bit more like, Pat, when are you going to show me something new? We'll get there, I promise. One of the pieces I want to cover here at the very bottom is kind of that new portion that's there. So that Planner Agent is now available if you have a Copilot license. So with that, as we take a look at some of those features today, you will need a Copilot license in order to make those happen. However, for some of you that might be aware, you have the personal portion, which is using with task lists, or even going as far back as tasks inside of Outlook along the way, maybe flagging emails. Then you have your basic plans, which again is really simple. That's the simple planner. And then the premium plans is a little bit more, and that's included with, a paid subscription of Planner, whether 1, 3, or 5 along the way. Now, some of you may be looking to say, what's the difference here, Pat? I think the biggest reason why this is picking up a lot of steam is there's really two things. One of them is the Planner Agent, I think, is where we're seeing a lot more come through, and a lot more that comes from, folks being interested in Planner. The other piece is that they've essentially sunsetted Project Server. And so Project Web Online, or Project Server Online, the old PWA. And so we're seeing a lot of organizations really want to make that change and go through. Tark, a great question. Is Frontier available for GCC? I knew we were going to get into a licensing conversation. I am not 100% familiar with if it's available in GCC or GCC High. So unfortunately today, think of it as commercial. If it's not there, it will be coming to you soon. If somebody else knows exactly Tark's question, please feel free to reply. All right, so, and I see that we do have a hand raised. If you want to just go ahead and enter it in the chat, Paul, then we can answer it that way too. All right, so when we take a look here from a planner perspective, one of the story here for us to think about is a few different things. One of them is Planner's been around for a while. And so when Planner first came out, it was really that tool that allowed you to build on top of a Microsoft 365 group and bring you a lot of different features and functions. And as you see across the bottom portion of it, you can see some of that timeline here across the bottom. And so this is when we start to see some of those pieces. We had, Microsoft To Do came out. Then we had Project for the Web that really kind of cemented the unified planner experience, meaning it brings Planner with Timeline and Plan One together. And then we also had the agents, and then obviously agents now available in all plans along the way, whether you're using a premium or a basic plan. When you think about the difference between basic and premium plan, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that go through a variety of different, examples and scenarios that come through all the different, items of the differences between. I'll do a good job today of covering it, but what I wanted to spend more time here today was really just showcasing some of the pieces that are important in terms of making a decision if Planner Agent is something you're able to continue on down the pathway. So here's where taking a look. One of the items to think about is that Project Online is being retired. There's a lot of sad people, and if you're one of those, I feel for you. So Project Online is retired. The official migration path overall is to either move into Planner Premium or move into the subscription edition and deploy something for yourself on-prem. There is a video at aka.ms video down at the bottom. You're welcome to go check that out. I will drop in a link to these slides afterwards if you want to go and download them. But again, with that, you do have some of those pieces. Today's presentation is not Project Online to Planner Premium. It's not scoped that way. And the reason for it is there are still gaps between Project Online or Project, just Microsoft Project, and Planner Premium. And so when we think about what that means is every organization is slightly different. Every organization has different requirements and different, pieces overall. And so if you're one of those organizations that's evaluating it and saying, you know what, it's not there for me, there's other ways of doing that. I suspect, in terms of organizations, the organizations that were heavy inside of Project Server or Project Online are probably the larger ones that have no problem deploying something, locally in their environment. All right. So next thing here is we're taking a look. I leverage co-work to help me build this slide. So if you're looking at this and you're wondering, how did Pat get this slide built? Co-work for the win. But with that, as we're starting to see some of those pieces, you know, these are all the different items that are available. I'm going to bring over my screen here real quickly and show you the difference, or show you a basic plan, and then we'll jump a little bit more into a premium plan. But one of the things to make mention of is that it allows you to do tasks. It allows you to set, you know, priority. It allows you to build numerous different tasks per plan. Note the limit there of 25 plans per group. You also have the ability to leverage chat with inside of it. You can bring it into Teams. You have the planner agents. You have a couple different views that are there. Again, if you are leveraging the goals view, that does require a premium or Copilot license. And then there are some limitations. So one of the limitations I think is key, the resource and workload management. It is not a pure project manager management like tool, because it's missing some of those. From a percentage complete, it's missing some of those too. So we're going to take a look at the basic versus the premium here next, just so you all have a chance to kind of see those for us, and then we'll bring back a little bit in terms of what we're going to talk through and demo. All right. So with this here, I do have two different plans created along the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the basic plan here real quickly. See how splashy and exciting this is. This one makes me want to do work. So when we're taking a look here from a basic plan perspective, what I really want you to pay attention to is a few things. One of them is goals, of course, is available because I have a Copilot license. So if you don't have that, of course, then you're missing that. But then we see other items. I have a grid view across the top that allows me to go ahead and see the grid. Arguably, this is not a Gantt chart. This is really a table, SharePoint list, if you will, of your tasks along the way. I have my board view. And then what I want to point out from a board view perspective is that I do have the ability to filter or sort differently, I should say. So whether I want to use AI agent tasks, yes, that's right. You can have your agent do your work for you. Or I can use labels, due dates, status, and so on. I also have the calendar view here. So here you can see my tasks along the way for us. And one of the unknown things, I should say, of that, I'm going to show you a little bit later, but it allows how easy it is to drag and drop tasks to the specific due dates. So if I wanted to move one up, I could move one up here as well. Then I also have the reports portion of it. And so when I think about building status reports, that is something that's frankly, I don't enjoy to do. And so if there is something that you don't enjoy to do, it could be something as simple as a status report. And so with that here, I can go ahead and choose to generate a report. Maybe I don't need to include some of these items along the way. I'll just include the three that really matter. And what you'll see here is that it generates that status report for me. I do have record and history of all the status reports that are there. You may have noticed that you can't actually prompt anything extra or anything different there. Again, this is really just about getting those outcomes to come through. We'll come back to that in a little bit while it churns in the back end. We also have the ability to see our charts. This has been around for a while. And then the only other item I'll make a quick mention, you have the filters as well as I can search. But down in the bottom right-hand corner, you may have started to see a little icon pop in here for us. That icon here that you're seeing along the way, that is the planner agent icon. If you're in a premium plan, it actually shows you a different icon. And I think if I had a guessing point, I'd say don't get married to the icon, get married to the experience. I think the icons can always change as it floats around the screen, but I shouldn't have to tell any of you. You're all used to something being on the right-hand side, moving to the left, and moving to the right, and then moving to the left again. So, you know, keep an eye on where that's at. But if I go ahead and click on that, you'll notice I have the ability here of just creating a status report. So it's pretty straightforward or simple, if you will, along the way. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the report. Here you can see my status report. So if I needed to send it out to my to someone, I certainly could. Here's my work in progress. Here's upcoming items. Again, if I don't have dates and some of the data that's stored there, you're going to be limited a little bit here for you. But this is where I can start to see some of the items there. I'm going to say that's good. I'm going to keep it. And notice I can share it directly as a new letter in SharePoint. I can choose to view all, I can delete it, or since it's a loop component, I can copy and move that as well if I'd like to. So just something to make mention of bringing that through, that I do have the ability to do that. So that's a basic plan. Again, with this, I did have the plan set up ahead of time, I should say. We're going to go through from start to finish how we got here. But again, plan setup of what it is. You can obviously see that the tasks are there. Some due dates are there for us. I'm going to navigate back out to my plans here real quick, and I'm going to jump into the premium feature one here real quickly so I can start to see what that looks like. So you're not going to notice a whole lot difference here. Oh, that one doesn't have any tasks in there. Let's jump into a premium that has some tasks in there. All right, this one's perfect. All right, perfect. All right, so for this, I'm going to jump back into my grid view just so you can see where my grid view is at. So here I have the ability to start to see this. Now, it looks different, right? The premium one looks different. What I want to point out for you real quickly is you can see, it says planner agent across the top. Some of you probably have your eyes coming down here to the bottom right-hand corner, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a co-pilot icon, not a planner agent icon. Not to worry, it does a little bit more here, and we'll see that in just a moment along the way. But with that here, if I go ahead and take a peek at it, I do have the ability to look at goals. If I had goals that I wanted to assign, notice this is maybe a little bit more, what's the right word? It's more executive, right? Of here, what are you trying to accomplish? You get some goals that you can assign tasks to. So again, I have the ability to keep track of that. There's my grid view. So I can start to see some of my grid view. If I click on a specific task, and choose to open up the details, you'll notice a few different things along the way. One is that I have my start and finish date, which is available in the basic. But if I come down here to the duration and completion and efforts, you start to see some differences here. So that's where you can start to say, okay, premium, I hear you, I understand. And so now you have the ability to do a little bit more there as well. You'll also see the other piece that's really missing is the dependencies. So from a basic perspective, those are probably the three things looking at it that's like, okay, that's what makes it a little bit different. One of the things to make mention is behind the scenes, and I see Tom's message in there for us. Behind the scenes, they are in different buckets, if you will, and so they are working on migrating them to the same kind of ecosystem behind the scenes. So Tom, I suspect maybe you're caught into that issue as well between basic and premium. But that's the difference here for us. And again, leveraging Power Automate is certainly something that you may want to continue to do because there is some known kind of notifications and pieces that aren't quite available. All right. So with that, let's just do one more quick kind of step through one other technology here that we're going to touch on, which is the planner agent itself. So when we take a look from a planner agent itself, I'll go ahead and close this one out. I'm going to click on the Copilot icon here. This has been taken this morning. It's been taken like 30 seconds for it to load, and I found it was quicker if I put something in there. So this has been taking a little bit longer, but what you'll see here for it when Copilot loads up along the way is that there is some, there's the ability to actually take action and do different things there for us. So like I said, this morning was taking a little bit longer than before, but again, this would allow me to do a little bit more function directly inside of the plan versus having to go to the planner agent. All right. So let's jump into the planner agent as part of Frontier. So here's my agent inside of Frontier. If you're not quite familiar with how to get here, if you don't have the planner agent available, you can click on all agents and then you can search for the word planner. And so you can see planner agents is available there for me. Other agents of my favorites, I like Cowork. So if you're someone that wants to test out Cowork and that's available, that one has a few different additional requirements out there as well in terms of making that be available inside of your organization. But we're going to focus in on Planner here. So I have Planner, and you can see that I already have it added. So just go ahead and click on Open. As we're seeing some of these pieces here from a planner agent perspective, there's the ability for us to do a couple different things. One of the things here that we have the ability to do is that we can ask questions. We can see what tasks we have to do. We can draft tasks for us. One of the other pieces to make mention of is that the planner agent and the facilitator agent are going to start to work together. And so you'll start to see some of those pieces come into play from a facilitator agent as well. If you mention or assign tasks, you'll see that the planner agent can actually create tasks for you or add them to a project plan. Now with that, some of those pieces do require that it's a recurring event tied to a Teams meeting that's tied to a channel, and some of your legacy meetings may not be set up that way for that to flow as easy as you like, which is where the comment about using Power Automate might be an advantage there. But with this, I do have the ability to start. You can see that I can prioritize tasks, I can create new tasks, or I can update tasks as well. This is one that I think is really kind of a neat one. Like, I'm on leave today, so move all my tasks that are due today due to tomorrow. And so this is going to look through every plan that's assigned to me, every task that's assigned to me, and essentially do a bulk update for me. Now, as this goes through and you start to see this here, I don't have any due today, but you do see I have one task that was due yesterday. So I can say, yeah, let's move one task that was due yesterday. Let's move that to tomorrow. So you can see that experience along the way. I really like this because oftentimes when I think about tasks overall, I lose track of them or I forget about them, or I start to work on a task and then I lose track and I'm like, oh, I got to go and update this. Or if you're someone that works across a couple different projects, you have to jump around to make those happen. And so with that, I have the ability to see that. So I can choose to actually, see there's my new due dates. There's the planner example, user enablements. That's the bucket that it's in. And so I can always ask to say, hey, push everything out by a day, or send me a summary of tasks due when I'm back. And so you can start to see how you can leverage this to really help a user who's a part of a project become, essentially better with a project as well. So here, there's a quick summary that's due to my due when I come back. So here's my summary along the way. And again, with that, I have the ability to choose a couple different things. Notice I can make action or take action directly from here as well. And so this is a really kind of a neat way for you to leverage that. So what I want you to make sure you leave with here today is that the planner agent is not just for Microsoft planners or plans. It also can help you out personally. So you can leverage it yourself to start to see and help you prioritize your time, much like a Copilot can do. And so this brings me back, and I appreciated Emergent's the item at the beginning with their contract review agent that they went through. When I think about an agent has a specific skill set, and that skill set here is really one of those more valuable pieces to be aware of. And so the planner agent's skill is not only on like managing a project, but it's also managing the resources or managing the team member. So in this case, this is really an important piece to be aware of, that it can actually go ahead and look at your personal tasks as well. All right, let's run through one from start to finish here real quickly. So I'm just going to start from start to finish. And the process that I'm going to run through is essentially the easiest process that I have found. There are, all of us have been around Microsoft technologies for years or decades, and we can all sit here and say, Pat, there's another way. I know there is another way, but this is the easiest way Pat has found to do this. So if you're sitting here and you're going through this process and you're like, Pat, there's another way, take whatever way you want to go. You can take multiple ways and get there at the same point. Some of us use, a mouse all the time. Some of you use your touchscreen. Some of you use an Alt-Tab keyboard trick all the time to make it happen. Again, this is really just a way that one of the ways that will work. So in this case, I'm going to create a plan. As I create a plan, you'll notice, and again, depending upon your tenant, you may have a different experience here overall. But you'll see that I have a basic or a premium plan option for us. So I'm going to choose the basic plan along the way. And then I'll click on Create Basic Plan. And for this, I'm going to call this MN365 User Group Demo. And I'm going to put the word basic in there. And then here I am going to start with a group along the way because I want to make sure that I leverage team members from the group for it, and I can use those assets along the way. Again, groups are not going to be going anywhere, so something to be aware of. If you do increase your planner usage, you probably want to review your group usage, which then also involves your SharePoint usage, and then we get to see how everything's all connected back again. So I'll go ahead and click on Create a Basic Plan. As I create my basic plan, you see that it's empty. There's nothing here, right? It's completely empty. And now we need to populate it with tasks. And I can come in and I could add tasks. Perfect. I'm going to take the lazy way out. Everyone likes the lazy way out. So my lazy way out is I'm going to copy this link here real quickly. As I copy that link, I'm going to come back out to my planner agent, part of the frontier. I'm going to say, create me a set of tasks and add them to, and I'm going to put in that link for, what do we want to do here? For a project online to planner premium. I'll just say planner. I won't put premium in there. A planner project that includes needing to meet with the users impacted in the move. All right. Much like some of you might go to COPA and say, okay, I'm doing this move, or this is assigned to me. Now what do I need to do? Guess what? You're doing that here, and it's going to create them. So we'll go ahead and watch it happen here as it goes through and it lines things up. Hopefully I didn't make it too complicated along the way. But again, you know, if anyone has questions, feel free to put them in chat as it's going through. This is the way, whether you start with premium or basic, this is the way that I recommend starting. And the reason, again, the reason why I recommend that is because it's consistent and it's the way that always, it just works. You're leveraging the Frontier agent. Remember, if you saw something between the basic and the premium, was that the basic plan didn't have the ability for me to really do any actions other than summarize with summary or create a status report. And so here we can start to see there's my user impact portion. It's created 8 tasks along the way. Something tells me it should be more than 8, but from a demo perspective, I think we're good here. You have the ability to start to see some of the different tasks. And so here you can see those portion along the way. So here's where I have the ability to keep track of all of those. And then as I come down here further, I can actually choose to say, okay, what do I want to have happen? Now, I want to be very clear that there are some suggestions here that just do not work, and it drives me crazy. But I'm going to ask it to add buckets. And again, I can say add buckets. And remember, Pat, buckets are the organization portion here. Actually, I should probably show you the premium. Yeah, go ahead.
Paul's got his hand up, so I'm not sure if it's related to this or just a little bit earlier.
Paul's had his hand up for a little bit. I don't know if, Paul, you want to put your question in chat, or can they come off mute, Michelle?
Yeah, they should be able to.
Okay. Yeah, it's been up for a few minutes. Okay, Paul, maybe Paul's lowering the hand. Okay. Thanks, Michelle. So here we can see the buckets are created along the way. And again, we're leveraging that planner agents for us. And if I come back out here, you'll see nothing's there. But in a magic Microsoft Minute here, as I refresh my screen, I can see there's all my tasks, right? They're all created. If I click on the grid, you can see the 8 tasks are all created there for us to be able to see. So again, one of the neat things about it is it can actually go ahead and do those. I am going to see if I can ask it to do a variety of different things. I'm going to say assign tasks to different buckets. And as I go ahead and do that, what we should hopefully see here is that it's going to move those now to the appropriate buckets. So if you're a project manager, you're probably like, okay, Pat, I can do this in my sleep, and that's not something. But if you're someone that's not a project manager, and you're being asked to manage some sort of project, whether it's an event, whether it's a simple migration, whether it's a software change, whether it's a change of physical address, this can help you out. And so I think that this is a key piece here for us to see along the way. I'm going to jump back in to the board. I don't think it's done its magic yet. Oh, it did. Look at that. Boom, done. So what? In about 2 minutes or so, we built an entire project plan, assigned it to buckets, and we're ready to go. Okay. So with that, here's we're taking a look. One of the pieces that you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed in, and I'm going to let us all fail together. I'm going to ask it to assign all tasks. Please use Pat's at my tenant name. Let's see if that takes it. It should not. That failed. Yep. Man, isn't that great? It suggests it and they can't do it. So there's your one, like, don't make the same mistake. But again, with this, it tells me that I can go ahead and do it myself, which is great for us. So great, I can certainly do that all myself. So with that, as we're taking a look, we can add additional tasks to this plan if we want to. And remember that since we're doing that inside of, and it's got the memory of that conversation, I don't have to restate what project it's a part of all the time. I have the ability to essentially just continue on the conversation. So I'm going to add to this. I'm going to say that I met with the team and we need to add co-pilot training to the topics. Can you create a bucket and all the tasks for co-pilot roll up? All right. Now we are going to move into Planner here, and I'm going to show you something pretty neat in just a second along the way, and then we will also do this with a premium one for it. But you know, if you do have questions or items that come up, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call on you, and then you certainly can come off of mute as well. But here you can start to see that it's going to create this in the background. I'm going to switch out of it here real quickly. We're going to come to the actual planner for us. As I'm in the planner along the way, you'll see a couple different things. The first thing for us to kind of think about is I have my grid, I have my board, I have my calendar, and so on. I want to go ahead and assign some tasks to me. So to assign my tasks, I'm going to click on Assign To, and you'll see that the planner agent is there. Okay. I'm going to actually click back out to the bucket here real quickly. I'm going to assign a task to myself real quickly. So to do that, I'm just going to click on More Actions, and I'm going to, I guess I can click on it here. I thought there was a little button down below, but I'll just go ahead and choose to assign to, and I'll choose myself. All right, we'll close that out. And I can choose maybe one more, and I'll assign to myself. Perfect. All right. So I have a few tasks assigned to myself. Now I'm going to jump into the calendar portion here, and you can see my tasks are there. Oh, it looks like the co-pilot thing came in because, again, here's all my co-pilot tasks built in for me. But I'm going to come in and say, you know what, that's due today. Actually, I'm going to say, you know what, that was due last Tuesday, and we're already behind schedule. And I need to create co-pilot role training modules, and I need to do user impact meetings, and I need to prepare, my invite. So you can see how quick and easy it is for me to move these things around. All right. If I come back to board, you're not going to see anything really too crazy other than if I scroll over on the right-hand side, you can see that bucket that was created for my co-pilot rollout. And then I'm going to come down to the Assign To. All right. So here's the Assign To portion. I am going to choose a task along the way. I'm going to say that I need help creating a meeting agenda. When I think about the meeting agenda here for us, I can click on it and drag that into Planner Agent. When I click on the Planner Agent portion of it, you can see that it's queued right now. One thing to make mention is that every project or planner task, I should say, that's assigned to the Planner Agent also has a human assigned to it as well. So this is something to make mention. I see we have a couple questions in the chat. In terms of missing fundamental management, I would agree, Jason. I think it's closer. However, it is something that is a little bit of a limitation, I would say. When do we think include resource capability and planning capabilities? One of the things that you can do specifically with the planner agent, and this gets a little tricky with the Microsoft architecture and how they have it set up. But if you have your plans all in one group, you do have the ability to ask about resource assignments in that group. So you can see like how many tasks are Pat assigned to. Where you run into a struggle a little bit is whoever's running the query may not have access to every plan. And so that's the issue that you run into. They don't all have to be part of the same group, but again, whoever's running that query needs to have access to the plan in order to see it. Eventually built-in timesheets or time tracking. I have no comments on that. I don't think that's on the roadmap at all in terms of that coming out for us. And then will tasks eventually support true scheduling, date time, so blocked off in an Outlook calendar. I'm gonna say no, but I'm gonna say check out CoWork to go with that. So you would have the ability with CoWork Premium to also add custom fields. So you can choose to leverage custom fields to maybe help with that specific ask for it. But again, I don't think that would ever be included. However, a CoWork can certainly do work or assist you in doing work on your behalf with your approval for it. So that would be probably the closest there. Really good feedback with those three. All right. So here you can see it was ready. Sorry, I drew on my screen so you can actually get to see it get finished. I'm gonna plan this out. I'm gonna let you see one as well so you can see it happen kind of in real time. You can see there's the assign to. This to me is one of the neatest things. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why is because we all know we have tasks we have to do, and there's always that one task where you're like dreading to get started. Because you're like, I don't even know where to start on this thing. And so what this allows me to do is if I have a good project plan or a good task, I don't have to copy and paste that into, a Copilot or whatever tool you want to use to keep track of it. So if I go ahead and click on this one, you'll start to see there's my task detail. I click on agent activity. Here's my comprehensive meeting agenda for the user group. So I need to clearly communicate. I need to welcome everyone, meeting objectives, Copilot overview, training plan, user impacts, risk mitigation. I also got an email that said my tasks are ready for review. So keep in mind that you can also give tasks to an agent to really help you out along the way. And so this is a quick way for you to be able to do some of those pieces. And so you can start to see there's my items. And again, if I'm good, I can copy and move that somewhere else, but it is stored as part of Loop, as part of that specific task in the container behind the scenes for the group. All right, so there's my task, and you can see, oh, that other one was done too. My Copilot plan on that. You can use my training plan for Copilot. Probably not 100%, but probably pretty close to get started and be able to tweak it and adjust it. So again, what I like about that is I don't have to kind of start from scratch. I have the ability to keep track of it and start from something along the way. All right, let's go ahead and let's jump into a premium plan, just so you can see that experience a little bit different and what that looks like. So I'm going to create another new plan. I'm going to create it as a premium plan. And in this case of it, I'm going to choose to name it MN365 user group demo premium. I'm going to choose my finance group as well, just so it gets assigned to a group, and we'll create that. Now, as this creates a plan, one of the differences here is you don't technically have to go to the Frontier agent because you have full Copilot included here. So here I have the ability to keep track and see this again. This takes a little bit of time for it to load. Not normally a ton of time, but you'll notice that the experience is a little bit different. One of the pieces I see mentioned in chat roadmap, task-specific chats move within the task item interface. Yes, I believe when I'm done with this presentation, I can find that. I can find that on the roadmap, but there is something mentioned about specific chats being able to leverage that. I honestly think that you're going to see Microsoft to do kind of move away and it's going to go to my tasks. I think long term is where you're going to see that. Just a hypothetical thought here. All right, this thing is being slow. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I give it a plan here. We'll just say Copilot rollout. Let's see if that works. I'm just trying to wake it up. That's the key here. I'm for it. If not, I'm going to have to move on, and you're going to just have to believe me that it does work. It worked all last week, the week before. It worked over the weekend when I was running through this test. I must have to give it more tokens. So if anyone has any Chuck E. Cheese or Shakey's tokens that I can give the Copilot to start, that would be nice. We're going to start putting a token redeem machine on your desks for everyone to put in a token. All right, well, it looks like it's taking its sweet old time. I don't want to derail and sit here for it, but we can certainly come back to that. One of the pieces, well, Pete, thanks. It's not necessarily a sacrifice. It was working. I promise you, I have a video of it as well. Yes, I used all the tokens on Skee Ball. There we go. All right, that's going to be the next thing. We're going to go to conferences, and instead of getting any swag, you're going to get Copilot tokens to be able to feed your AI agents. All right, this is just taking a sweet time. But again, this would allow me on the right-hand side, I could go ahead and create tasks. I can put a buckets on there. I can do everything I did with the Planner Frontier agent. You can't assign a task, but you can update tasks. So the difference is, instead of me having to move to another tool to do that, I can do it all with inside of the same window. Was really the difference of it. So if you don't have premium, it's okay. You can still do everything. You just have to use the Copilot agent as well to make that happen. So I don't know why. Let's refresh this thing, and we'll try one more time, and then we'll give up here for us. I promise you, it's supposed to show up right there. Oh, there we go. Celebrate. Yes. All right. So here we can see the items. I'm going to just say Copilot. Whoever put their token in the machine, thank you. All right. So build it for a Copilot rollout, and you can start to see some of the ways that it's going to create and see that. So again, I don't have to switch to a different application. I think that's really the key takeaway is with premium, you stay inside of the application. I don't have to switch. I have the ability to see that, look at it all did itself. It's all shiny and magical along the way with some fancy shading. So I have the ability to see that. I can add milestones. And again, it's a little bit quicker, right? You see it because you're not having to switch back and forth and refresh your screen along the way. So all of this is done the same way, to be honest with you. This is all very much the same way. There's nothing there that's different than what you can do with the Planner agents with inside of Copilot. But again, here you can start to see those items. And again, if you wanted to make modifications or adjustments, you can see the board. If I close the board out and I choose to say assign to, you can see there's the Planner agent. I can assign a task to the Planner agents. And again, it's going to work on that and do that. If it doesn't have the knowledge, like in this case, assess the current infrastructure, it would give me some steps on what it thinks I should assess in order to be successful. So again, use the agent to help you when it comes to the idea of what tasks you have assigned or to complete or assist you in specific tasks. The last thing I'm going to touch on, and we'll come back to the PowerPoint and summarize some of the different topics before we turn it over to Jack for the next speak, is really focused in on the idea of status reports and updating that statuses. So as we take a look, we do have the ability to jump into reports. So if I jump into reports, I can generate a status report here. You saw me do that earlier, and you saw it was very kind of linear along the way. Where I've seen a little bit more value along the way is actually coming in and doing a status report inside of the Planner agents inside of Copilot. So I'm going to just choose the basic one here real quick. I'm going to cheat just so it doesn't hallucinate and pull the wrong one. I'm going to create a new chat, and I'm going to say, I need a status report that includes red, yellow, and green for tasks. I also need risks. Please use this plan. All right, I'm very nice. I say please and thank you a lot. So here I'll go ahead and click that through. And what you're seeing here is if you need to generate a status report very quickly, you can do that. So here I've pulled the entire demo. Again, I always like to use the links. You can use a name. One of the things to make mention if you use a name is that if you reuse the name, then you're in trouble, right? So using the link or the ID as well. So here's the overall project risk. It's saying, hey, it's yellow because there's some tasks that are not started, including things that are near facing or user facing activities. Green on track, items that are at risk, something is past due. Other items here are due in the next couple of days. Here's some other items that should require immediate attention. So I can't deliver training without materials, scheduling, or license confirmation. I don't know about you, but if any of you get assigned a project manager that's not technical or doesn't understand the steps, sometimes this analogy here is really hard for people to know which task needs to happen when, right? And so this can be a valuable portion for it. One of the other pieces that I've played around with here as well is taking a template of the existing status report, dropping that in as an image and say, please replicate that. It doesn't create it as kind of an image or a picture, I should say, but what it does do is outline kind of the core requirements and what's important. So here you can start to see some of the risk mitigation recommendations as well. And again, I can choose to, do that, convert that to a one-page report. And so now here's my status report in a one-page report that I can choose to copy, paste, and adjust. But again, this is where now you can start and say, yeah, I need to update this, or no, that's not really a risk because we have these other things happening as well. So again, with that being said, just something to make mention here of seeing it. All right, before I jump back into the PowerPoint deck and kind of run through just the last two or three slides, kind of highlighting some of the items that we saw, I want to pause if there's any questions for us. If any of you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat or come off of mute. Again, specifically here, I wanted to spend more time showing you what it can do and how you can leverage it versus just traditional slideware and keeping track of that as well. So if there are any questions, feel free to come off of mute. Otherwise, we will continue on with kind of a quick deck portion for us. All right, not seeing any. One of the pieces I did want to cover is what's available for you itself. So one of the pieces to make mention is that when you move into the plan 1, 3, and 5, that's when you move into the premium perspective for us. But again, even on the basic portion, that's where you have that planner agent available. So again, you do have quite a bit of the things here. And again, I tried to showcase you what's available with the basic, and then a little bit difference of the premium, so that way most of you can probably stick into the basic portion as well. But again, you start to see that with the different plans, you get a couple different, some additional features and items. I suspect as Microsoft continues to build out the licensing and see where the agent fits in, we might see some adjustments and pieces come through there as well. So the plan 5 is going away, with the idea of Project Online. However, there is talk of it potentially, sticking around from a subscription perspective. So I wasn't quite ready to take it away because it's still on the latest price list. So, but it has been announced. So Jason, thanks for that feedback. Again, if anyone's watching this in the future, it might be gone already. So I think that's kind of the key piece. All right. So one of the last things I just want to touch on here real quickly is from leveraging agents for work management. And so when we think about the 3 things that we talked about today, the first one is the assistance, right? We're able to leverage it to help build our project plan. We're able to have it help complete our tasks, or at least start our tasks. We're allowing it to go and update our tasks for us, change the due dates, make it be easier for us to manage our own kind of timeline, right? So leveraging that and being available. The key there, I think, is humans in the loop, right? So when we think about humans in the loop, it can't do anything without a human, right? So I think that's really the key takeaway, is that it's not just completing tasks on your behalf. It allows you to maybe work a little bit faster and more efficient. One of the pieces that I always tell anyone that is, like, I don't know where this AI is going to help save me time. I already do this already, and this task doesn't save me any time. I think that's a key piece to kind of take away, is that if there's something that you're trying to leverage Copilot to do in this case, and it's not saving you any time, you probably should look at what the task is, because you may have it optimized already and you know the loop, or you know the process for it. And again, with that, you do have the ability to stay in control along the way. All right. Other items in the slide deck we've talked through already. I'm just going to skip maybe to one last one here for us. And then I will drop in a link to the chat. If you want to download this presentation, you're welcome to go and do that. There's a handful of different things. But again, one of the pieces that I think is really key is that Microsoft has continuously built and improved some of the documentation off of adoption.microsoft as well as support.microsoft. So again, if there's links specifically, I think that these are some of the key links for you to go through and take a look at for next steps if you want to keep track of those. All right. With that portion, are there any other questions at all? Otherwise, I will turn it over to the next presenter. I did not show the Gantt chart portion of it, so let me jump into let me see here real quick. Let me go to the premium portion. The grid, let's see here if I can see the grant. Where is it? I will drop a screenshot in here because it is something that I wonder, I don't see it in this demo environment overall, but I will drop a link in there for you, Tark, to see it. I'll add it to the PowerPoint deck and let everyone know this afternoon when I get that added. But I want to be respectful of time here this afternoon. All right. With that, if there are any questions, I'll stick around and chat. I will get that added here, and then I'll send the link out in the next probably 10 minutes or so. But with that, thanks again for having me. Appreciate the time. Hopefully all of you now are a little bit better in the Planner agent and what's available here for you and how you can leverage that. And then I will check the roadmap as well for the sign to portion that came in earlier from Brian. All right.
All right.
Thank you,
thanks,
Michelle.
Pat. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for covering this. I know it's been a hot topic of what people should be doing inside of managing their projects and what's the timeline. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Pat. Appreciate you as always. We'll see you in Florida. We'll also see you live in person at our workshop day, May 15th.
Yes, thank you.